Hey, CBC Youth, happy Sunday. You may notice that I'm back in our youth suite. Kind of weird to be up here without any of y'all here. I feel like I should be saying, hey, you, be quiet. Hey, yeah, why's your hand up? Hey, yeah, it's weird to be up here and not interacting with you guys. And today's lesson especially is one that I wish I could be with you and have some interaction. But alas, here we are. Coming off of last Sunday and Daniel's announcement about his calling to go on to a new church, brought me to this lesson today. I want to talk with you this morning about obedience through change. Because a lot of times when God calls us to do something, it'll involve tremendous change, right? First of all, it involves us changing who we are as people and how we live in the world, but it also involves us changing our circumstances, changing the people we're around, changing the place we're in, what we're doing. It just can be a lot. And the trick of it is, sometimes when God calls us to something clearly, He doesn't give us a why. He just tells us what to do. The example that comes to my mind when I think of that embodies that perfectly, is what happened with Abraham, right? God called Abraham and He said, Abraham, I want you to go into a land that I'm going to show you. He didn't say go to Canaan. He didn't say go to the promised land. He said, get up and go to a land that I will show you. He gave him nothing. He gave him not even where to go to, let alone a why. But Abraham then became the father of our faith, right? The father of faith, we even call him sometimes, because he's so well known for his faith. Today, I want to look at a little passage of Scripture that I think would be so easy for us to just gloss over, to read over and ignore and keep going. But there's a message in it that I find so incredible and powerful. This comes out of Genesis 11, and we're looking at a tiny little account. This is all that's said in the Bible about a guy named Terah, who was Abraham's dad, the father of faith's father. And he says, this is Genesis 11, verse 31. Terah took Abram, his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his grandson, and Sarai, his daughter-in-law, and they went together from Ur of the Chaldeans to go into the land of Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. That's it. The next verse says, his days were 205 years, and he died in Haran. In Haran. That's all we know about Abraham's dad. Is God said, hey, I want you to go into Canaan. I want you to go into the promised land. But on his journey, along the way, he stopped off in this nice city called Haran and settled. A lot of folks believe that God first gave the calling to go into the promised land and found the nation of Israel to Terah rather than Abraham. But Terah settled. God let him settle for less than what God would have him to do. It blows my mind. Because one, it shows that God's marvelous enough and brilliant enough and beautiful enough. He's going to achieve His ends no matter what. But He also will let us settle for less than what He would hope for us. A good example of this kind of being called to something I didn't know and understand, but choosing to follow it anyways, happened to me a couple years ago. When I finished my degree at Milligan, that was about my third year of being here doing middle school stuff with y'all. When I was about to leave Milligan, I was sure that I needed to go to seminary. And I was sure that I needed to go to seminary at a really cool place, a really special school called Truett Seminary at Baylor University in Texas. I was set. I was also excited, right? Because Truett, in my mind, was a magical place that I was going to be able to go and escape to, right? Get away from mess with friends and family and get away from myself and just go to be a part of this awesome, crazy, cool thing that I wanted to join in with. But as I was arriving and making plans and getting ready to go, God spoke clearly. And he said, wait. He said, don't go. Now's not the time. I need you to stay. And I heard that so clearly. No idea why. No idea. So I traded going to this magical place, this magical opportunity in school with a new community. You know I like community, and I was excited about new community. I traded that for getting a degree in counseling at Milligan, where I had just been, even though all my friends had moved on. Staying here in Johnson City, where I'd always been. Staying with my folks, who I love, but I was ready to not be with, live with anymore. Traded all that I was hoping for, that I was running towards, because God just told me to wait. And I didn't know why. But in the meantime, He has worked so much good from my remaining here. He's restored our family in many ways. He's changed me and helped me grow so much. I've matured so much through being a part of the program I'm in and doing the work I've done as a school social worker. And I never would have expected it, but He's done so much in me being able to stay with you guys. Wednesdays and Sundays here with you are my favorite points throughout the week. And it is always a blessing for me to be able to watch what God's doing in your lives and see how He's making Himself known. Always in ways I wouldn't have expected, and almost always in ways that I had nothing to do with, that I wasn't a part of. So I'm so glad that I stayed. I'm so glad that I obeyed even when I didn't get it. All the reasons that I wanted to run away and escape to Baylor have dissipated. And now I can't imagine myself being anywhere else. I don't want to be anywhere else or with any other people than the family and friends and church family that I'm a part of right now. But God has spoken again to me. And He's telling me that the time has come for me to go. A couple years back, His message was wait. Now, His message is go. And I don't want to go because I don't know why I'm meant to go. I don't know what all it's going to entail. But I know that it's much better to listen and trust and obey than it is to settle. Because God would let me settle here. He would. And I don't want that. I want His best. So in August, I will be moving to Texas to go to seminary there. And I'm going to cherish the next few weeks we have together. And I'm so grieved for all this COVID stuff, because I really feel like it's cost me a lot of precious time with you. But I trust Him. So I have to go. I have a choice, but it's almost like I don't even have a choice. I wish you guys were here. I hope that, if there's any comfort, one thing that all this COVID stuff has taught me is that we can keep up with each other in a real way, even from a distance. And even though things won't be the same, I do hope and look forward to keeping up with you and hopefully having some visits every now and again. But if there's something I want you to know, it's just how loved you are. And I know you're loved by God in a way that I can't wrap my head around, because He's put a little bit of that love in my heart for each of you. And I really believe there's nothing you'd ever be able to say or do or become or be that would affect the love I have for you. And it's this big compared to what God has. That's a kind of love worth trusting and listening to. That's a kind of love worth giving every part of your life to. And so I hope you'll do it. I think too, as a youth family, we're in a season of change, right? With the McKenzies going on to their new calling, with all of the fluctuation and change that's going to bring, it's a great chance for you to ask yourselves, God, who do you want me to be? What do I need to bring to our church, our youth group, to our city, in order to demonstrate and be filled up with that amazing love and goodness that you have? I hope that you'll ask God that question. And it really does give me so much comfort and joy to know that you all are here still doing God's work. I'm not going to be a part of it in the way I wish I would, but I know that He's going to be working through you and through Timmy and Sarah Beth and whoever comes along, whatever comes, God's faithful to keep doing His work through this place, through you. And I love you very much. Holler at me. I'd love to talk about this with you if you want to. And I do hope we'll have time to spend together before August. Maybe even some lifted